All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining for the second book reading, reading of the second and third chapters for the Navigating Home Wayfinding Book Club. If you're seeing this on a recording, welcome. You're here in perfect time, and thank you everyone for showing up and being present today with us live. All right, so we're going to start with centering, grounding, heart resonance attunement. So inviting you all to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, and just taking a moment to take a couple breaths and feeling your body. Feeling the inhale and the exhale. Feeling gravity. Holding you right here, right now. And tuning in with your heart. The wisdom that exists in the cells, in the tissue, in your consciousness. As you breathe in and out, connected to the whole. Feeling your skin, the energy moving through your fingers, the feeling of air on our largest organ, the senses that we perceive. And just finding this stillness, this cherished feeling of wholeness when we drop in and feel that essence. And feeling this group that we're in, this collective of seekers, of inner knowings, of exploring the wonders of the world, of thoughts and sensations, of feelings of laughter. And just feeling gratitude, feeling the appreciation, feeling the pleasure of this wonder, of curiosity, of whatever's next. And feeling that spaciousness that comes with that allowing of watching that unfoldment. Where is your mind? Where is your body when you have that space, that conscious awareness within you? And opening up the saying hello to your environment. Everyone's mentioned their watershed and mountain, feeling the connection we have with the natural world beyond our home, beyond the floorboards of the houses that we're in, to the landscape, the ground, the earth, the soil, the sky, the trees, the animals, the birds that exist beyond. This larger field of life, of nature's intelligence, of water, of sunlight, air and fire, these elements that create balance and harmony. And give us the elements to enjoy life more fully. Being aware of the sounds that you hear. Maybe you hear the birds outside my window. Maybe you hear the birds outside your own. And just feeling that dance, this musical choir that's always around us. these golden threads that are constantly weaving depending on where we put our attention, our focus, our energy. And allowing for that pause as it unfolds, that feeling of the emergent flow that happens all the time. And feeling that joyousness of that awareness of those things, of being able to follow that and see what emerges, what happens next. And I invite you to come back to yourself, come back to your breath, to your heart, to your body right here, right now. And just feeling joyous gratitude for this present moment, for this time that we have together to explore whatever is to be emerging, to play more with these thoughts, this book together, and exchange ideas that allow us to deepen and grow together. And so coming back to this present moment, in this timeline, in this dimension, in this reality, in your space. And coming to, and we'll continue on what's next. And Karen just said that Mercury is in retrograde today, having tech difficulty trying to fix. All right. No worries. Everything happens and flows. Welcome all. Let's do a quick round of just, you can say your name again, and maybe one word, 2 words of just like where you are at right now. And if you want to give a quick sentence, or we'll do another round of that, or if you want to say just like how that experience was from you or something else you'd like to share ever so briefly, you can too. And I'll go first as a demonstration. My name is Nalasa, and I'm right now feeling quite blissful. And that experience, it was really nice to feel just the journey and like remembering gratitude for me. And I'm gonna let it go pop, like just pipe in. We're gonna try doing it without someone calling on someone else and just having whoever wants to speak next, speak next. So you're up.
Najma, and I'm in Ravenshoe in far north Queensland in Australia, and I'm sitting in the morning sunshine, and it's just beautiful, glistening, the dew on the trees. It's just, I'm just reveling in nature and happy to be here.
And I'm Rosie, sitting next to Naj. So, of course, that all applies to me as well. And what's also coming up for me is trust that everything is as it should be.
Whoa, we'll keep doing this. Louise here?
Yeah, we can hear you, Louise.
Okay. And what's coming up for me is a complete peacefulness, and especially after reading the 2 chapters today, just real peace. And connected.
I'm Charlie Riverman, and I'm here in Maine, the southwest coast of Maine, and it's extremely hot. As you can see, I'm dressed for that. So, I've not been to the beach today because that's full of everybody, but I send you blessing from Mount Agamenicus, which is to my right, and the Agamenicus River, which is to my left. So it's a joy to be here with you. And it was fun to actually read the book as a book today. So when you write it, you've read it so many times, it's like you can't read it and get anything out of it. And I did. So yeah, thank you. Bless you all.
So I'm coming from Damariscotta, Maine. I've had an incredibly beautiful and blessed day of work. And in the later afternoon, I was like, I'm going to read my chapters. And I realized that I wouldn't make it if I didn't go to the ocean and swim. So I ran out to Pemaquid Beach, which is this gorgeous little beach where I live, and swam for a bit. It was hard to get out of the water and come back, but I'm glad to be here. I feel like it was what I needed to just like show up and be present with the reading and just kind of collectively anchoring into heart space, which the ocean is and the water is my heart space. So I'm glad to be here. I am going to shut off my video while I have a little dinner, but I'm so glad to be here and look forward to the evening tonight. Thank you.
I'm Lois from Binghamton, New York. I'm honored to be here and to be reading the book. I've made decisions for years with a pendulum, and I played this afternoon with my first dowsing rod, so I'm excited.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm John Brown from Helena, Montana, or the Helena Valley, and really felt as soon as I got in on the screen with you all, just this sense of eager anticipation and welcome comfort and really, really excited about what the mystery of life has in store for me and us in this study.
Okay, I guess I'll pop in. I'm just really feeling joyful here in Massachusetts, watching two beautiful young children who love the outdoors, the environment, and listening to each one of you, really speaking to a sense of whole system health. What does that feel like, and how are we applying that? And I really enjoyed sitting at the beach with the kids, reading this book and hearing the ocean and feeling that deeper resonance. And as Charlie was saying, the opportunity to slow down and read these two chapters without rushing through them or trying to make them better or finding typos. I still found a typo. But yeah, so grateful to be here with all of you because I didn't think I was going to be able to. So thank you.
So, I'm Mary Ann, and I have now arrived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And so I went through, I did half of West Virginia yesterday, the other half of that, West Virginia and Virginia, and the bit of North Carolina. So I'm just happy that I made it. And as I drove through all that amazing weather, I was really feeling the elements. And it was very, very big, beautiful views through West Virginia. I really appreciated them. And I'm just feeling kind of confused because that was 70 pages. That was a lot of pages. So I'm all confused on the resonance. So I hope we get into all that, all the different types.
We absolutely can. We've got a good amount of time together. I think Grace and Heidi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my name's Grace, and I just felt after the meditation just very peaceful. Yeah, very grounded. Happy to be here.
And I'm Heidi, and I'm sorry I'm late. I had a little bit of an emergency come up, but everything is fine. Nothing's matter, not anymore. So, but I'm very, very grateful to be here, especially having read the book, like most of the first chapter at least. But I'm getting really excited about the stuff and having about the content of this book, and also just the beautiful layout of it. I've been reading it online on my computer for the last couple of days, and I finally got the book itself, and it is so stunningly gorgeous the way it's been laid out. And I just have to say how grateful I am to be a part of this and having taken Shelley's dowsing, evolutionary dowsing class with her last summer. So I'm very grateful to be here.
Amazing. Well, thank you. I know, talking on behalf of all the authors, I feel like all compliments are always welcome. And yeah, the feel of the book, I feel like, is something I particularly like. We all just wanted it to feel so good. We really wanted the heart resonance, the frequency of the book to be like part of its message. So yeah, thank you for that. Okay. Karen's here, but not here. Marianne, you clearly had some question that you wanted to explore. Did you want to ask that now, or we can just start the discussion there, or?
Yeah, well, there's really a lot in the first 3 chapters. There's really that whole, I think a description of each of the types of resonance as important, unless it's not, So that's what I think I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to pick up that thread. So that's a really great question. And I think also, if you watch your email, I think I'll give Nalasa a document that's called Heart Resonance and Duende, which may help you come into a deeper understanding of what we're calling heart resonance. And so I agree, throwing in the second and third chapter was a huge amount of information. And we've already jumped from heart resonance to earth heart resonance. And so as you get deeper into the book, you're going to hear stories of people that also had difficulty understanding, some of the authors, difficulty understanding heart resonance and what was that. And so the opening that we do each of these calls is really what we're calling a heart resonance centering. So it's an opportunity to, number one, connect, yes, with your own heart, but to begin to create a container that allows for the communion of the collective. Sometimes you hear it called the global brain, right? Or we hear it of the conscious collective. So it's supporting a relationship, a sacred relationship with the pulse of evolution itself. Some of us might already understand that because we've spent some time listening or understanding conscious evolution, and some of us might not have any relationship to that. So if we can just hold that willingness to be open to, as Nalasa was open, you heard her use the word feel a lot of times. And so it's really opening our bodies to drop into an embodied relationship with the universe. That's number one. And number two is then we talk about group heart resonance, which is really the main focus of this book. So each one of you come in, let's just say, as a holographic field of vibration, intention, attention, right? And so if you can imagine, I think one of the ways I like to really look at it is as tributaries of a river. So we hold the qualities of this of nature's intelligence within us, right? We are, and some people like to say 70-60% water, but actually volume water molecules were 99%. So if you can imagine, what we're attempting to do is to allow ourselves to become an embodied whole, right? And it's just like we're a river falling into the, what I like to share as the delta, right? We come where the silt with all of our stuff combines and becomes an emergent force of love. And when so from that state, there is no separation. And so we're inviting you to begin to deepen into that experience of no separation, of wholeness, because we are already whole. So we can't, and I can't even remember where the chapter of, moving from head to heart, right? So the invitation is to set up an environment where we all together become that global heart, which Grace will just start smiling. Right? Okay. So that's the frequency that we actually want to begin in. And so that's where this book is intending. And also, I want to say to each one of you that you are sort of the filters for the first round of reading this book. So your questions, your information, or what you don't understand is really important to us, because you're going to help the greater whole as we're going out. Okay, so now we have a little bit of heart resonance. We've got a little bit of group heart resonance. And now we take that, and when Nalasa's talking about the golden thread, right? We're learning to track, to let go of our own ideas, opinions, thoughts, and start to begin to listen to the frequency of what's emerging. Where is the field itself inviting us to focus? Which is why Nalasa went right to Marianne, because, when you see a flock of birds, right, there's always that one that's leading until the next one leads, right? So here we're tuning into the pulse of creation itself, so that whoever has the strongest vibration, maybe you understand entrainment. We talk about that a little bit coming forward in the book. But essentially, the strongest vibration moves the group. So that could be total joy and elation, or that could be somebody being confused, or it could be somebody being triggered. So we're learning to kind of begin to maneuver. And then finally, because this is where we picked up on this second and third chapter, is earth heart resonance. And that's when we take the group and we begin to focus on land or water or earth projects or necessities, whatever is calling to us, right? And we begin to listen to the energy itself speak through us, and we trust. So when we're talking about, and I'm going to jump one step further, when we're talking about the extended pause, right?
Yeah.
That's where we allow a pause, number one, yes, between each speaker, because we want to allow for a deeper integration, but it's within that liminal space that you're going to feel the strongest impulse to be the one to speak next, or to hold back because you're feeling like you want to jump in, and you're not in resonance. So it's a practice to learn how to listen to what the earth, the land, the water is speaking, so that we as a collective group now are in our sort of unified yes, and we can take our skills and begin to work with that and create an impulse. An impact. So I'll leave it there. That was a lot, but hopefully that just begins to sort of make it a little bit clearer. And I open it up to anyone else of the authors who feel like they want to bring anything else in.
Thank you, Shelley. Oh, that was fantastic. And for like also in clarity of like the three harmonic octaves and how we've written about them in the book, we have loosely defined the first one, heart resonance, as being kind of your relationship with yourself, like us as a person. Like there's heart resonance. The beginning opening, I kind of did the first part of it as connecting with who we are, our stillness, our breath, our body, and also that collective body of the group of each other that we're here with together. But it's still all based around the 12 people on the call that are individuals, 13, sorry, Najma, you have 2 people on your screen, the 13 of us on the call, and feeling our personal body and the bodies that we're in this group creating this joint field with. And so that's heart resonance, individual, collective, group heart resonance. And then Earth heart resonance is connecting everything to like with the natural world, with the birds that I mentioned, with the environment, with the wind, with the dew on the trees, with like the whole energetic field that exists beyond our own biofields, our own selves, that we're constantly in relationship with. And then radical earth heart resonance, or quantum resonance, if you will, is the third level. We won't get to that till the 10th chapter, but bringing up here now, just because you do get the graph at the beginning when we talk about heart resonance to have an idea of where we're going, is opening up that field beyond the earth. We're connected to the galactic, or connected to the cosmos. We're connected interdimensionally through space-time. And so it's bringing in that consciousness, that awareness of we're not just one body seeing whatever's around us. We're not just the world that's greater than ourselves that we're constantly interacting with, but we are connected to so much more than we can see, comprehend, or aware of at any given moment on a typical day in our environment. And so those are really kind of the 3 levels. And how we've mapped them out, and the circle that we've done is really trying to show what is that center access point to make those different concepts more obtainable. Like, so if you guys want to open to your book to the graph, I can also put it up on the screen if people would like.
Yeah.
I don't have the current copy of the book on my thing, so I don't, I can actually find it. Hold on one second.
Which one she's talking
And if anyone wants to add things beforehand, but the center, so we described attributes that we think are consistent at each level. So like the first attribute is sensing. And in the first octave, sensing is gratitude. And so to enter heart resonance,
Do you,
almost like one of
sorry,
the.
do you want me to share? Can you let me share?
Sure, yeah, you can share. Let me allow you to. Um,
Here, I think I can share now. Okay, there it is.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelley. Oh, you also have the old one.
Oh, this is the old one? Oops, sorry.
Yeah,
Whoops.
it's
Okay.
okay.
Whoops. I brought up the wrong book. Okay.
Um,
I have it. Hold on, wait. It actually might have been this right there.
On page 51,
Or 37.
here,
47.
Yeah, it's page, oh wait, actually, this is the wrong book.
I can share. It's okay. I found it on my Canva that I made it on. So this is the overall flow chart. If everyone can see that, is that big enough for people?
I think you need to make it bigger.
Let's.
Can you make it full screen? There you go.
Page 37, is that where we are?
33.
Mine's on 30.
And
Yeah,
so
It's on 33 and 37. So,
okay.
yeah, so why, so that's what's one thing is I kind of like, I try to understand how it's presented, why it's presented the way it's presented, and then I get all lost in all the different little sections. But if I don't have to worry about all the little sections at this point, if we're gonna be just using this throughout the book, then I feel like, like this is the meat and this is the part that we're gonna work, the whole thing about. And I don't know if that's right.
I I think it's kind of. Shelley, do you have anything you want to address with this?
Okay. So, good question. And this is where breathing is really important. Number one, this is a book club. And so Nalasa, can you take it off of this screen? Yeah. It's hard to talk to. Okay.
Yeah.
So so I think Marianne is right. The three harmonics is, I wouldn't call it the meat. What I call it is the aggregation of everything that we've ever done from the get-go, 2015. And the three harmonics really came together, like I said, almost the year before we published, which meant that we did a lot of work with a lot of investigations, case studies leading up to that.
Wow.
So I think what would help, and I have it, I believe I have it, is to send you a document with just the harmonics and first, second, third, so that you could be holding that while you're reading the book. And not to get stuck so deeply on this, because I think this is, let's just call this a first level through. There's not a whole lot that we can go in super deeply on, in the book club. We can focus on certain things, but I think, Nilas, if we could do that and give everyone that sheet that has, and then it's going to start to make more sense. And yes, it's true. I'm agreeing that when you're reading, it's hard to, there are a lot of pieces and a lot of stories, and trusting the way this book unfolded. Of course, later on, there might be various edits to it. But the way that it happened is it was really clear to base the book around the case studies. So I would invite people to really stay with the case studies and just follow and enjoy. And then the pieces that are really meaningful to you, and like tonight, this is really important, to Marianne and to all of us. Look what's happening. We're kind of coaxing or carting out this information. So that's what I would say to it is just try to take things lightly And of course, each person's going to have a certain focus that they get excited about. And I think that's almost really important to begin each call with what's turning you on, what's lighting you up, because that's kind of where we want to focus. And then we can look at what would it be like to go into a deeper study of these harmonics. And I think already they're saying, yes, we want you to go deeper. And it took a long time for us, even the co-authors, to really with really Nalasa and Deborah Cruz's support to really break this down and look at the best way. And I want to have, a flyer that just, or a poster that just, or a bookmark that just has the three harmonic, that we can just hold in our hand while we're reading this book and go, okay, this is making sense. Or to write us and say, hey, here's where it's not making sense to me. Let's figure this out together. So, but
Well, that helps a lot. I mean, it took you whatever it was, 8 years, 9 years to get it.
4 years, 5 years.
No, 2015 to 20.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it took you like a bunch of years to get there. And so I don't feel bad if I didn't get it in 2 weeks.
Thank you. And like I said, you're going to read stories from Deborah Cruz and Shanti Hart, who we went a long ways before Heart Resonance became an embodied experience. And now all of a sudden they went like, oh my God, I had no idea, that this is what you were talking about. So it is an embodied experience, and that's the only way to experience this. And that's why later on you might go, hey, I want to be part of the consortium, because we spend 12 weeks in this experience, but applying it to a particular project or
Got it.
Got it.
Got it. Feel much
Got
better.
it.
Thank you.
I got it.
Thank you, Shelley.
Maybe Nalasa just let's just release this for right now and see if there's anything else popping, and or if there's other questions in relationship to this. Let's keep opening this up, because that's what we're here to do, is to meet your questions and stories, and apply it to how can you apply this to your life, your groups. Yeah.
Luis, yeah.
During the time I was reading these 2 chapters, a couple of things came up for me. David Eisen was the person that I had followed, and he enjoyed reading my poetry. So we would message each other back and forth, and to see his name pop up was a nice surprise for me. Another thing is, I started a few years ago learning sacred geometry. And no, more than, let's say 10 years ago, I picked up the book Sacred Geometry, and I could not get into it. I was like, and I tried again a few years after that, and I'm like, no, it's not happening. When I started reading it today, it was connecting. And it felt good to, get that feeling of, okay, I'm ready for it now. So those were just some little bites and things that happened during these 2 chapters that I was grateful for.
Thank you, Luis. That's so beautiful.
Oh, I miss David.
Yeah. That's precious. And also, I think that really just speaks to when we're reading things, we're always like unlocking parts of ourselves and like
Right.
ways of understanding and codes. And like, I think so much of Heart Resonance, it's a feeling, but it's also like an opening to being
Yeah.
like, oh, like when I'm in this frequency, or when I am allowing myself to be receptive, then this and this and this make a different type of sense than it
Yep.
did beforehand.
Right.
And that is a constant evolution, which that we go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Any, like, also, yeah, any questions or just any comments you had while reading these chapters, like what lit you up or made you wonder more? Lois? Yeah. Did you raise your hand on purpose? Yeah.
I don't remember what I shared last week. I'm also a writer and I'm doing my 10th book on Sandy Hook as a tribute. And it's generating some weird reactions. I feel like my own life synchronicities, like my middle name. I went to a workshop with thousands of people, and the first two people I met, one woman and one man, were both named Sandy. But I can give you all kinds of other things. Every moment of my day feels like every hour I have another moment of synchronicity. So I loved your talking about it. What do you do with people that are not on that level? I literally walked out of a group the other day when someone was screaming at me, "You have no heart," because I disagree with President Trump. It's the same person who literally told me to keep her name out of my acknowledgments, but said, when you go to Newtown, get the birth and death certificates for everybody. It's the same person who literally, one day I was trying to get to a Holocaust memorial, and she claimed, and I drove around for an hour and a half and didn't get there, and she claimed you really didn't want to get there. I had nothing to do with the fact that the flyer had the wrong city and the cemetery you would miss if you blinked. So what do you do other than, and she also claimed the concert that was the impetus for my book could not possibly have been the impetus for the book. It's like, what do you do when people challenge your reality? It's like she's projecting her own fear on me. And beyond leaving, I'm writing about compassion fatigue and compassion satisfaction replenishing. But what do you do when I feel like I'm just being triggered by this person and all I can do is leave?
Hey, can you put Cat
Yeah,
Loose
I'm pulling
oh,
her up.
sorry. Oh, she popped off. Never mind.
What did you ask for?
Someone just popped on and they were making noise, and so we were gonna just silence her.
Did you remove her or she took herself out?
No, she just took herself off or dropped. Yeah.
Wow, Lois, that's huge what you've just shared. And I hear your cry, what do you do? And I think we've all had these experiences from time to time. And my response to you is just to, I would do the same thing, remove myself from the situation, but also forgiveness and love. Just send love to that person, because this is what I do for me in these situations, because it's a bit like verbal diarrhea. They're not really connected, and they're just verbal diarrhea, I call it. And yeah, what can you do with that except remove yourself from that situation, because it's not nourishing for you. So that's the first thing, is your self-respect and taking care of yourself, and then not harboring ill will, but to just try and be in your heart as much as you can. And that's all we can do. I mean, you're responsible for you, they're responsible for themselves. And you can't fix other people, unfortunately. My feeling is you model right behavior, and your truth is your truth. She can't tell you what your motivations were. Only you know that.
Is that
So
an
that's
example
coming
where,
from
is that an
But-
example where they're not in resonance?
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So, yeah, and I like that to herself, because she's trying to be in heart resonance, right? You know, person A and then person B. And so basically Lois needs to not work so hard. Is that the idea? It's like, because clearly she can't change that other person.
I'd just like to say something about all of this because it's something we're going through right now as a result of everything that's happening in the world. And in outer space, there's a lot of shifting and changing, and people are attaching themselves to things that they think will make them powerful or bring them some kind of energy that that they'll be bigger and louder and whatever. And that's part of the problem of the evolution of humanity right now, is that it's exactly what's causing all of the problems with Mother Earth. And so when we dowse and when we go into the field to change the energy so that it's positive rather than negative, okay, we need to stay in this place where we are. And everybody can tell us we're crazy or whatever you are. And that's one of the things we learn throughout this writing of the book, is that people had old stories in their life from childhood, probably from being in their mother's womb. And it's hard to let that go because we've lived all of these years and nobody told us that we don't have to follow that. We don't have to be angry about that. We don't have, all we're doing is dragging old things forward. And that's what we're about, is we're now in the new field of togetherness, working as a complete circle, and everyone is equal. And that's what a lot of people have joined us, and they couldn't take it because they couldn't get past that point where they learned something and then they wanted to change it. And that's not the thing. What we've written about is our journey that we've all experienced. And it's like you say, that last chart of all of those things, that came in at the very end. And it was amazing how none of us had the idea of doing that at all. And all of a sudden the message came, and I didn't work on that set, but I mean, it was amazing. So as you read the book, know that the things that come up for you that you feel a little negative about, or in your life that has stumbled you or held you back, send them love. So my answer, and they get sick of me hearing me say it, it's peace, light, and love. There are three things you can use: peace, light, and love. You don't have to put them in those directions, but that's when you come back into yourself and you're realizing that you are this amazing being, that you were never taught how amazing you were. So I'm going to be complete at that, but it's really an important thing in the book. And now that I get to read it rather than write it, I'm going to learn a lot more than I knew writing it. So we're always in that energy field. And that's what it's about. It's a field of energy that we're not only creating, it's being co-created with us for the highest level of outcome to Mother Earth, the universe, etc. I'm complete. Thank you.
I want to weave in an embodied experience, because how many here have experienced what Lois is talking about?
Sure.
Right? All of us. Absolutely. Grace wrote about it in her book. So imagine, just take a moment and just close your eyes and imagine. So let's weave it back to the very first question that Marianne brought up, which was really, what is heart resonance? What does that mean? And by the way, I would invite you to also jump to the Stormy Waters chapter. Just jump to the Stormy Waters where we talk about being triggered, because really that's what we're talking about. And to me, so if you just close your eyes for a minute, And the easiest thing that you can do in any situation is just simply to put your hand on your heart. Nobody's going to check you on that, right? Because that we're making that connection with our body. We already begin the embodied practice, right? And then we just take a breath, because that's what we have to do. And even if you have to go into the bathroom or whatever it is, you just take a moment and you're giving yourself to the flow of creation within your own heart. So you're already connecting with your heart. And from that place, there's no separation with that person that's being reactive. Right? And some people might call in all their angels at this point. But just taking a few breaths, feeling your feet on the ground, allowing your awareness to connect with what Nalasa was describing as just the cosmos, really feeling that ancestral relationship, and feeling this toroidal field bring your attention down into that centrifugal force. And allowing that exhale to just like a waterfall release off your back. And just doing that for a few seconds or a minute and just opening your eyes and meeting that energy and seeing it as energy, being that love, right? From that point, you have a choice that you can make. You can walk out, or something's going to come out, but it won't be reactive, you know? And maybe you need to take a step back. Whatever it is, it'll be the exact right thing. And that's really, to me, the beginning of that resonance practice, you know, or just weaving in Grace and the Global Heart Team, they talk about 5 breaths of love, right?
Yeah.
So it's that opportunity to not separate, because the immediate response is to want to separate. And even when we're working as a 12 around 1, I can't tell you how many times I've probably triggered somebody in that group since 2015. I can tell you, right? And it's really hard. It's hard for me and it's hard for that other person. But if you notice, well, I'll also include this agreement field. There's like, the consortium has an agreement field, which I just sent out recently to everyone because everyone was beginning to talk over each other. I'm like, okay, let's back up here and to really be willing to be self-referential, because you attracted this. Like, if I can own that I attracted this situation for my own growth, this is an opportunity. It is not about the other person. When I can hold that frequency, you know, you'll do whatever you need to do, but it's not done from reaction. It's just done from a loving space. Like Najma was saying, that I'm going to choose to take myself out or go to the bathroom just for a minute to regain it, whatever it is. Or I can say, thank you very much. And you're not giving anybody any energy to create more, right? So this is the growth opportunity. This is the beginning practice of embodying this resonance that we're talking about, right? And it takes a lifetime. But and the beauty of the collective, the beauty of this book is it's giving us an opportunity to do it together, to feel I'm not alone, right? To do it together. So I'm going to pass it back to Nalasa because this hour goes fast, but also we kind of agreed to stay an extra 15 minutes if we can. So I'll pass it over and yeah, just, this is the beauty of what to me, I'm gaining something from that question that you brought out. So I pass it over to Nalasa and wherever you want to go from here. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie and Najma.
Yeah, thank you. And Thank you for just being open and like bringing that. I think it's a really real situation that people struggle with all the time. And what came up to me and what Shelley, it's both like bringing us back to center, and also sometimes I feel like when someone's triggering you, it's really hard to be like, I'm gonna like show them, like I'm gonna send them love. But really, I think it's also about like showing yourself love first, like practicing self love and being gentle. It's like you're not wrong for having different opinions than someone. It also sounds like she was not coming from like a place that she says like she's not coming from heart resonance. She's not coming from understanding or openness or wanting to, like, she's also being aggressive. And so these are always complex situations, and we only have our control of like what we can do. And like I think it's definitely a practice, but to breathe when you're hot-headed, or just to take that moment, and even if you can do it like 20 seconds sooner than you did the time before, like that's still tremendous
Yeah.
progress,
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for reminding me that it's about to end, because I was like, I forgot that we started on the half hour and not the hour, and I was like, we have tons of time. I don't know what we're gonna do. So yeah, do people still want to do a full like 15 minutes pass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have like another 15 minutes. Does anyone else have a question or a thing that's popping? I guess I wanted to share, I went sailing yesterday and I saw dolphins. And why am I sharing this? I resonated with Jessica, you saying that you like took self-care and went to the ocean. And I think kind of goes back to self-love too. And we talk about this in the book. It's, how do you show that, and how do you have that relationship in your life with nature, with the trees, with the animals, with the ocean elements, with water? Like, how does that show up in your life that makes you feel expanded, makes you feel connected to earth heart resonance, to radical earth heart resonance, to heart resonance in general as like a vibration? And like, how do you cultivate that? And I think if anyone wants to just throw in popcorn styles of like, what does that look like for you? Like just kind of making it a real thing that like, what is your self-care of of this concept of heart resonance that's relatively new, but you always kind of know it. Like when I ask like, what brings you joy, what makes you feel youthful or adventurous, like everyone can usually bring something to mind. And so I think it would actually be really powerful if we did around just like sharing what are those things? What are those things that bring you a smile to your face, that makes you feel connected to the whole? And I'm gonna let anyone pop in. And I love this actual really organic style because it allows for a really beautiful pause of waiting between speakers to see like who's ready to jump in next. Thank you, Karen, for sharing. She says sunrise in the chat. So good.
Morning rituals.
Down in my pond, or next to my pond in the early morning light, listening to all the sounds and feeling gratitude and sending my blessings out.
It's always water for me. It's always water, whether it's early morning, whether it's late in the evening and I'm going out and the beach is dark. The smell of the salt. I mean, I grew up both privileged to be near ocean and lake. I'm on the coast of Maine, so we have access to both. And the water is just, it's definitely like it's the place, you know, it just kind of takes care of everything. She's such a beautiful blessing. So for me, it's water in all its forms. Ooh, she's magic.
For me, it's a combination of things. It's a little bit of dancing and a little bit of meditating and for the needs of what's needed for the day. And then also, I just love being with the animals at Wolf's Neck Farm. You know, the baby goats and the kitties and the little chickens and stuff like that. So it's just really, I just have a lot of joys in my life, and I'm blessed.
The 5 breaths of love for me. Practice.
One of the joys for me is in having the awareness to recognize when I'm not in resonance, and that not in resonance is becoming more of a place of gratitude. And because if I'm not, then I also know when I am. And so one of the things that has been for me and the excitement about this group and is that when I find myself out of resonance, like if I'm a cello and I can't reach the tuner and I'm out of tune and I don't know whether I'm sharp or flat, and then I come to here and I say, hey, I'm out of tune here. Can you help me tune up? And and it just I don't know which way to go, but turn that tuner and see so I can feel what it is to be in tune through the help of this community.
I really love that, John. I think it's so true. Like both being with people that are at a certain frequency allows you to remember that frequency yourself. And also when you're with people that aren't and you can feel the disharmony, it also makes you learn how to practice to become stable in that, or figure out where you're out of alignment as well. But it's all really good reflections. Yeah, I love what everyone has shared between animals and the elements and just all the different ways we can connect with both our heart and the natural kingdom. Does anyone else want to pipe in? There's a couple of people that didn't share.
I would add dancing, water. I live by a creek, and even if it's 10 below zero, I look at the water every day, just bundle up, and coloring, and finding meaning, making meaning of what's going on.
Beautiful. All right. Like trying to figure out how much time we have. We have like another 7 minutes. Do you have something you want to add, Shelley?
Um, I guess I just would, in just kind of wrapping up the package of the second and third chapters, was there anything in particular, and this is just not everyone popping in, but is there anything that hasn't been spoken to tonight that you feel is important for you, or something that you caught, insight about in regards to your own life, and just keeping it short, and then we're going to close, and I just want to, yes, talk a minute about what's coming forward. Is there anything else that's really moving that hasn't had a chance to, or had the space to just be shared? So let's just take just a moment of just being in that. Najma's raising.
Yes, just a quick, you mentioned something, I can't remember your exact words, but the subtitle is Navigating Choppy Waters, and it's on page 153 of the book. And it's just the 2 pages. It's just before we get to Shanti Hart's story. And that's about the extended pause. Now that's in part 3, so maybe I'm a bit ahead of my time. I didn't want to bring it up earlier, but because you referenced it, Shelley, I just thought I'd bring that to the group.
Okay, great. And yes, you can pop a little ahead if you're having it, if you're curious and have a, it'll make more sense when you read the whole thing, but if you're, because that conversation did come up tonight, so I think it's okay to do a little jumping. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything else that anyone's just wanting to check in?
May I? I was just really taken by the quote by the writer and activist John Seed. Deep ecology is the philosophy of nature which sees that underlying the environmental crisis there is a psychological and spiritual disease stemming from the illusion of separation between humans and the rest of the natural world. That just resonated really deeply with me. I spent last weekend up at College of the Atlantic here in Maine, which I'm actually a graduate from, and they offer, my degree is in human ecology. And I chose multiple areas in which I focused on within that degree, but it just speaks to the volume of that quote, and just the heart resonance, the disconnection that is going on currently, and how important the collective heart resonance is to healing across the board, not just the earth, but people. I don't know, there's something about that quote that really spoke deeply in my heart, to how important it is for us to sit into heart resonance with one another. And it is the healer. It heals the earth, it heals us, it heals communities. It's like, so yeah. And how much separateness I think is experienced, that is like creating a lot of the fracturing that we're seeing environmentally, community wise. I could go on, and I'm not interested in doing that. I just, that quote spoke really deeply to me, being back up on the island in a community of my own education of like how important it is to see the interconnected webbing that is what we're here to be, connected to each other, working together from a heart-centered place. And that just, it really captured me in the reading, having come off the weekend of being there, and being at an incredible festival of the Indigenous people of Maine, and those kinds of conversations about how are we disconnected and separate, that is creating, some of the fracturing that we're experiencing on many levels. So
thank you.
that's it. It was
great.
beautiful.
You gave me inspiration. So I would invite everyone for next week, as you're reading, find what is the one quote or one little paragraph or one line sentence that really captures you specifically. And bring that, if you remember, maybe Nalasa can write that in to the email, but just bring that with you. And it would be seemingly a very powerful thing to open up with. And let's see where that energy takes us. Because that to me is like, that's the creme, when you find something that really just speaks to your heart. And yes, we of course are going to have questions, but it's a slightly different vibration, and let's just see how that really supports vibrational opening in the collective here. And with that, pass it over to Nalasa to close us into this spiral. And and just take it easy with yourself reading the next 2 chapters, because again, this is a little bit of an experiment. I mean, we could have taken 12 weeks and broke, and we would have gotten, be able to go a lot deeper, but this feels right for what it is. We're just kind of, taking what we can get and sharing, and then we'll have some feedback, hopefully, from everybody to say, wow, this was the experience, and here's how, we can make it better. And so with that, passing it over to Nalasa to bring us to a gentle spiral into the evening, and the morning for Rose and Najma.
Beginning of the day for some. Thank you, Shelley. I absolutely love that idea of capturing a sentence that really captivates you, or like something that rings really true to making you question or ponder, or just like makes your heart sing. So taking a moment just to open your eyes for a moment and just look around, either at us or at something in your house that just sparks joy, that makes you have that feeling of wholeness. And we can look at the screen, we can do any of our senses, and just feeling that. Just taking a moment to feel those sensations. Yeah. Smiley faces, witnessing other people's joy. And with that feeling, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment, and sending that feeling of joy, that feeling of gratitude, just honoring this time together, this ability to share from our hearts in a safe, trusted, supported space, environment. Feeling that self-love of us honoring our bodies, our minds, our passions, the little streams, the golden threads that bring us alive, that we can share with others. And just allowing that breath to move you, relishing in this pause. Pause when no one's speaking and there's just this moment of extension for what comes next. That extended pause of the inevitable future. And that awareness of whatever you feel in that silent space, whether if it's excitement and trepidation, uncomfortable, exciting, it's all perfect. And just being aware of your awareness of that, and knowing that it will grow and shift and change. And telling ourselves, I allow that too. And giving yourself a little hug. Thanking yourselves for showing up, for being here in your fullness. Opening your eyes when you're ready, and giving gentle goodbyes to everyone present for another week together.
Blessings, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. See you next
Thank
week.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right, bye.